Hello, hello, it's Dr. Shirley. How are you today? Thank you for coming to class. Kind of fun to do when we're home, right? You get to choose what you want to do. I'm kind of liking these days, and I thank you for listening and joining in here, because me teaching and getting my energy out in this way is certainly helpful as we plan our days, being home and everything being just a little bit different. So for those of you who are just joining me for the first time, I've been in the field of natural health and fitness for, almost about 30 years. I started in fitness, many, many years ago, but have been working in alternative medicine, for many, many years. I have a degree in health and wellness counseling. I'm also a doctor. I'm a yogi. It's just kind of been my life's work. So being able to have the honor of teaching people these things has been very exciting, and especially kind of during this time, as we're home. But I think there seems to be a lot more focus on health, if you will. I mean, I've been really, really busy, and I appreciate that. I've had a lot of phone calls. I've had a lot of texts. And so as always, if you personally have any questions or any thoughts that I can help you, just feel free to reach out. Okay, and let's go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about the liver today. Oh, hi Lori, hi Jane, nice to see you both here. So today we're going to talk about our liver. Now, who knows where their liver is? Probably some of you that are students certainly do, right? Our liver's on the right side of our body, and it's a pretty resilient organ. It's a pretty good sized organ, kind of like a small football kind of a shape. It's underneath your right rib. If you ever feel any tenderness or little twinges in that area, that's your liver kind of talking to you, which it does. Sometimes it does talk to you. And the liver does over 5,000 different functions in the body. It is so important. And those of you that follow me, you hear me say, oh my gosh, this is the most important organ that there is. But I think this one is pretty important. It can get clogged, it can get stressed, and that's really what we're going to talk about today. The liver is an organ that regulates your cholesterol, so it has a lot of importance there. It's an organ that also regulates, it's a big blood reservoir. It's a huge filter. And it's also, something that's going to make a difference in how your body stores fat. Okay, so that's for most of us, right? We're always, worrying about those few extra pounds. And hey, Eileen, nice to see you. Hey, Cindy. So let's start at some of the things, that kind of, the liver has to do. It's going to filtrate alcohol. Obviously, most of us know that. And it can take its toll. So the liver could be in a stress situation, which we'll talk about. After it's stressed for too long, it goes into a weakened situation. So too long a period of time with alcohol will cause a weakened situation within the body. But rest assured, as I always like to say, I will not bring up anything that I don't have a solution for, okay? So if you have questions, you let me know. Even tobacco goes through our liver. Food additives, I talked about all those the other day. Chemicals, every medication you take goes into your body. It actually takes about 4 minutes or so when something gets in your bloodstream for it to hit your liver. So it goes very, very quickly, kind of, roundabout in your body. That's why a lot of times we can feel things, really right away. Mercury, metals, whether that's, like mercury in your mouth or, metals that may be in foods or in deodorants. Obviously putting those right in our skin, but they get right into our body and go right to our liver. Cosmetics, hair dye, skincare products. Those are all things that go through the liver. All of our cleaning. I had a new client emailed today. She goes, where do you get your cleaning? And I meant, was it clean food? Was it clean products? So we need to think about clean and what we're putting in our house and what we're putting in our counters. Most people are shocked, that like something like Dawn dishwashing detergent is one of the worst things you can put on your hands. Things like Tide and Glade and Febreze, all of these things, they are just pure chemicals. They do not need to be in your house. Believe me, even now your house is not going to get, sick and dirty because of that. There's so many different ways to go. And these things are toxic to your body, to your liver, and then ultimately to our brain. It really can have an effect. You may find, even if you're a work hazard, I know a lot of people that are doing hair are out of work right now. I've had a lot of hair clients over the years, people who own salons and such, and they're subject to a lot. There's a lot of sprays, there's dyes, it's continuous, or nail salons, manufacturing, print shops. Even working in the Lowe's, department store or Lowe's Home Depot, something like that, and you work in the fertilizer section, okay, you're going to be taking in a lot more, than the average person. Now, some of the things that can happen, and maybe you will identify. Our liver, as I said, gets stressed first, and then it gets weakened, all right? So when the liver is stressed, we can have some moods. Now, the liver is shown to be the life force of the body, so a lot of our moods come from there. We can have quick to anger. easily frustrated, kind of, lashing out just a little bit. You may know that you may have trouble sleeping between, if you've heard me before, between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. Okay, that is a liver time. It's one of the things, even, I know for myself, even if I have a couple glasses of wine, I'll wake up at 2:30. I'm like, oh, Shirley, and then when I sleep like 9 hours like I did last night, I'm like, oh, that was nice, So we do want to be able to sleep through the night. If you are waking up, tossing and turning, it's a good time to give some attention, to your liver. You may have skin breakouts. You may have rashes. You may have, pimples or adult acne, maybe on your, chin, maybe it's on your arms, your back. Anything on your skin that is coming out is normally indicative of a bowel and a liver that needs some attention, and quickly. You may experience gas and bloating. So all of our systems are affected. Okay, so many of them are. There's actually a part of the liver that's called the hypochondria, and that's where the name hypochondriac came from. Because sometimes when we think every little thing is something, it relates back to the liver. So you can see skin, moods, sleep, constipation affected, by the liver, skin discoloration. If you have a very severe situation, maybe there's like a yellowish glow over it. You may have muscle aches. Maybe, you have joint aches and things like that. And that's really because the blood is having a hard time, reaching and getting the nutrients it needs to because it's so busy, working on the liver. You may have a pain, in your back area. You may have eyes that are dry, and you may even experience morning fatigue. And I describe this as, getting up and just kind of feeling like, where, not just where's the coffee pot, but oh my gosh, I got to start this day somehow. So we are emotionally tired even after we've just slept a whole lot. Our urine may be on a darker side. Our urine should be clear, but if it's darker, that's a cause for concern. Our stool is going to be darker. I could teach a whole class on all the different colors of our poo and consistencies and all that. It's really kind of fascinating. And I heard the other day, I was talking with Sally Leonard, who some of you know, and we've worked together in this herbal field for a long time. And there's a Dr. J who works with Nature's Sunshine, and he had a really valid point that I really wanted to repeat to you. If you have young children and grandchildren, we really should be looking at their poo. Okay, we should, because that's a good indication of health, and it really isn't anything that's talked about much. I know when my son had parasites years ago, every day we were in there, with a flashlight, kind of checking things out. But after that time passed, after about 90 days, I really didn't give another look. I certainly asked, but it's just something, if you see a dark stool or a green stool or a mucousy stool, it's a little bit of a cause for concern. So, hey, who knows? Maybe I'll teach a whole class on that. So dark tarry stool is an indication that the liver needs to be stressed. You may have aggressive outbursts, as I said, just maybe getting mad at strangers or just acting oddly, just not socially nice. Just maybe being upset, with people that maybe you shouldn't be. There could be food sensitivities. You may have trouble with wheat. Maybe you have trouble, with different carbohydrates or different sugars within your body where they're really affecting your heart rate. You may have a low sex drive, and that can be related to the liver as well. This is for males and females, okay? We're meant to have a healthy sex drive kind of all the way through the years, believe it or not. It's not something that just, dries up at, age, whatever, 35, 40. I hear that from a lot of people. Actually probably a good time to tell, some of you, we're going to be having our class next week, Healthy, Lean, and Sexy at Any Age. It's a 3-hour course, an hour Tuesday, an hour Wednesday, an hour Thursday. And we'll be talking, sex drive and hormones and weight loss and all kinds of things like that. So check that out on the page. Love to have you. The other thing that can happen, you can have headaches, migraines, regular headaches in the back of your neck. You may have fluid retention. You may be holding on to more liquids. You may have high blood pressure, again, related to to the liver. So the first thing we want to do is obviously body at least twice a year. You've heard me say this before. Springtime right now is a really good time to cleanse. And then also in the fall, I'm recommending now, even for other people who may be traveling or working in these industries, that you do a 1-week cleanse at least 4 times a year. Now, this doesn't involve changing up your food. This involves taking, a supplement packet, taking a fiber drink packet. So we pull out those toxins and we have the fiber, right along with it. Okay. So we're really able to, pull those toxins with us. And when we start to cleanse, yes, yes, you're going to have more bowel movements, but it's not going to be like a crazy thing. It's not like, oh, you got to go to the bathroom urgently, but you will see a darker stool. You may see some mucus, that's wrapped around that. You may see little white pieces, and maybe I'll do a whole class on a parasite cleanse, but I do a lot of parasite cleanses, and a lot of people have yeast, so we can do a yeast detox. You could also throw in some heavy metals, so things like aluminum that we can get if you're using deodorant, which, by the way, you do not need if your body is clean. Okay, you don't need to be putting chemicals on your skin like that. But when we put that in, it goes right into our body. And if we're using hair dye, I'm opting out right now for this month. We'll see how that goes, whether I want to kind of keep up with that. But hair dye is one of the worst things you can put on your body because it goes right into your scalp and it soaks in, and we may not even realize what's going on. Maybe we have some things like, those Glade plug-ins that you have around, or even some candles that are, soy-based are really not, good sources that you could put in your body. All your medication has to go, through your liver. So think about that. I'm never that person that's going to say, don't take this med or don't take that. If you ask me if there's some other options, I would certainly be able to help you. But, your regular, doctor is going to be able to, tell you what to do there. So when we do this cleansing, we're going to start to feel lighter. Our emotions will even rate out. We're going to start to sleep through the night. We're going to be calmer. We're going to be more patient, okay? It's going to help your relationship. Sometimes when we're first starting to cleanse, we can have a few outbursts and we may cry a little bit. You may feel a little melancholic or, just feeling a little bit more emotional. I've always said that, maybe it's not a good idea for both, if there's two people in the house, to be cleansing, at the same time. You can also cleanse with people that are younger. I had a gentleman reach out to me yesterday. He's kind of new to this whole scene. He's been on the page, but he's like, hey, can my 13-year-old do this cleanse? And so to me, I just checked into the weight. I don't care if the kid's 13, or 18. I just want to know if it was weight appropriate. She had, weight that would be, normal, maybe for an adult, but at 130-ish pounds or so, that's a fine weight. So we can indeed, use these cleanses with children. There's another liquid cleanse that you also can use that I've used with little babies. I've used it with 10-year-olds. I used to use it with my kids as well too. So don't think just because your kid's body, your grandkid's body is younger, that it doesn't need some attention. And the beautiful thing about children is they cleanse out so quickly. You can cleanse a whole child. You can basically get their body clean in like a week. But as adults, we have things that have accumulated over time. We have deep-seated and deep-rooted and deep-stored toxins. And when we have these toxins, we also hold on to more fat. Okay, when you're toxic, it's something called toxic fat. You can look that up on the internet. But our body will actually create more fat around that toxin, all right? And so, you have to get that toxin out, and then your body won't need to hold on to, quite as much of what's going on in the body, if that makes any sense. So you can do, a intermittent fasting along with a cleanse. There's a lot of different ways to do that. So if you think you want to do a candida cleanse, which is like a yeast, we would do that. Or if you think you want to do heavy metal, as I said, is another. I recommend a heavy metal cleanse probably once a year. Those things can be dangerous. If you start reading anything about brain health and mercury and aluminum, things like that, you don't want that stuff stored in your brain. We want to be able to keep those synapses firing and those dendrites going, just as fast as they can to get that information, to where we need to be. So is there anything else that anyone else has? Anything else you want to know about the liver? I think I've covered most everything. I just want to check, urine, migraine, headaches, anything like that. So I thank you for stopping in. It's nice to see a lot of students here, and I hope to see you next week, for our class as well too. And as always, if there's anything I can help you with, just send me a message and we'll go from there. So that's the lowdown on the liver, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye for now.